Hello everyone, welcome to the channel and welcome to the farm. So last fall I made a Reese Hitch log skidding insert that I adapted the design from a few different ideas that I had, a few different ideas I saw on some other YouTube channels. I used it a few times last fall and it worked great. I didn't film making the insert, but I also didn't paint it, so this spring I put a coat of paint on it. I showed it briefly at the beginning of the last video, but I wanted to show the skidder in action, show you how I made it, and show you how it works. That way if any of you have interest in having something like this, you give you a few ideas. So let's go get some logs. Well, it not only works, but it works like a champ. Had a little bit of figuring out to do, but we've been skidding some logs with it this morning. Got two over there. And one right there is big, and it skidded it like nothing. So we'll let this log down on the ground, I'll roll it out of the way, and I've got one more big one up in the back, and I'll show you what I've been doing. So first off, I guess I should start that this is a disclaimer. This is not an advertisement for my truck or the brand of this truck. Any vehicle that has a Reese hitch that's got a low range and four-wheel drive would be able to do this just as equally as this vehicle. So not an advertisement. I do like my truck and it performs well, but not an advertisement. One thing that I want to improve on though is I want to cut this hook off and buy a bigger hook that has a larger gap here that will grab both of these sling load handles a little bit better. This one's a little bit tight, so that's really the only improvement that I want to make so far. I have a few different size straps, a 3 foot, 4 foot, 5, and a 6. This one is a little bit short for the circumference of this log, so I upgrade to a little bit bigger size to be able to grab both ends of the handle. I know this is a little bit dull, but I'm trying to stay at regular speed just so you guys see how long it takes to do this process to get the log up on the back of this skid insert. I'm not exactly sure if I do something different with the way that I've got this chain routed on this log. I am still kind of trying to perfect this process here. You'll see here in just a second why. So the process is pretty simple. I bought a few. This is a 2-inch strap. They're rated, I'll put a number on the screen what they're rated for, but they're rated for a pretty good amount. And I bought different lengths just in case for bigger diameter logs. I think I bought a 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 would be pushing the limits because that's going to be a huge log. That big stump end from that log up there, I think I used this and it maxed it out. That's about as much as I would want to do. Putting the weight, mainly putting the weight on the suspension. I don't have any problems with the weight on this. It would take it. But basically you just get your strap around here. This is a 5 foot. You get yourself hooked. Crank it up. And here I about max out going over the top of my pin. I've got different chain link slots here. I have found that crisscrossing actually helps bind the log better. That way it pinches the log when it's dragging it and it's less likely to let go. I've also found that the outside slots work a little bit better. For some reason the log doesn't sway as much. And then you release the tension so your weight is still on the strap. I'm going to pull up a little bit and I'm going to lower it. Now my weight is on my chain. I'm going to lock my strap back down. So there's a little bit there, but most of the weight is on. I'll go down just one more lock. My weight's on my chain, not on the strap. Wrap my excess of my chain up and I'm good to go. Let's drag. Of course, when I start filming is whenever I start having problems, but I'm actually glad that I caught that on film. So there's going to be a few little hiccups and issues and things that you have to figure out and tweak. And when you have a hiccup like that, to me it's just a learning experience, just a way to figure out something that might go wrong with it and what you do to try to alleviate the problem. So I put on, whenever I lost the strap, I put on a shorter strap, so I had the 5 foot strap, which had a little bit too much tail left, so it's something to learn from. 4 foot straps on there now. It is barely big enough to go around the log, but it is just perfect. And I also double wrapped the chain, which grabbed it and pinched it and bind on it just a little bit more. Sorry about the wind, it is brutal windy today. But that did the trick, and that was one of the things I was going to mention earlier, was that I bought an excessively long chain, but that's one reason why I wanted it a little bit too long, was to be able to wrap twice if I need to and still have tail enough to latch onto the plates. And I think that's a 10-foot chain. So once again, let's drop it and roll it out of the way, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. brutal windy. Let's drive back up to the back and we'll talk about this just a little bit more out of the wind. This is the third day in a row the wind has been absolutely brutal. The cold front moved in, and weatherman said that wasn't going to be as windy today, but he lied. All right, so basically how I made this, I have 2-inch tubular steel coming out. I think that's a couple feet, and have another 2-inch going up and a 2-inch across the top. I've got a piece of 1.5 inches behind this plate, a piece of 1.5 inches and a piece of 1.5 inches, and then I put plates on both sides. And this is definitely overkill, but I would rather overkill something like this because you're going to be abusing this pretty significantly. So overkill is best. I welded a piece of plate across the front and cut notches for the chain. I put a piece of angle, I guess C-channel, along the back. That way when you're pulling the chain, this will probably have a tendency to curl in, and the other end will have a tendency to curl in. So this is going to help keep it from curling as bad. I put some plate on each side, and then I drilled a hole through and put a pin. And the main reason I did that is because that will allow the strap to roll over something smooth. And if you look straight down through there, it hangs over about 1 inch, so it doesn't rub on anything. And I was just trying to do something to kind of keep it from rubbing. So all this is homemade. This is a boat winch, like a 3,500-pound boat winch that I bought off the land of the Amazons. That was about it. Everything else, and the reason, honestly, the reason that I did what I did with most of this is just, this is what I had, metal laying around. I didn't want to purchase anything or buy anything. Metal is extremely expensive, but it works, and works pretty good. Obviously I had a little hiccup there, but it's a learning experience. Not exactly, I might take these out and put just a little roll pin in there so it'll swivel all the way around. That'll create a little bit less friction on the back side of this strap also, as if that pin has a way to just continuously spin. Right now the cotter pin hits, so it'll only spin so far. If I put a roll pin through there just a little bit wider than the width of that pin, it'll spin freely all the way around, so there's less friction. So is there anything else that I would do differently? I don't think so. One thing that I do want to do is, this is a little short log, but for my long logs, obviously it is not ideal to drag your log. If I'm dragging through the grass, through the field, it's not bad, but underneath this grass is dirt, and in the dirt there's probably some type of rock. So if you're going to mill it, chainsaw it, whatever, you're going to have a chance of getting stuff on the log that is not good for a blade or a chain. So the ideal thing, I think, would be to create some way to lift the back of the log. I found a ATV skidding scenario that basically will lift up with a little bit of a fulcrum action, will lift up, and you chain it on the back, lifts it up on some axles, and then with wheels, and then you can drag it, and you're not skidding it on the ground. So I might do that in the future, so we shall see. I'm going to hook onto this one. Small logs don't do as well as the big logs, because a small log has less weight in the butt end, and when you wrap your chain, whichever direction you wrap it, the log will try to unwrap it, and it will twist. So smaller logs definitely don't do as well. A heavier, longer log will drag straighter. All right, I've got this one and 2 more that I need to get out of the back of the field back here, and a fence that needs to be fixed because this tree, or this one that I just skidded out, fell over that fence during the fall, and my fence is busted. Look at all the mayflowers. All right, let's pick up this log and drag it out and head back to the front. If you stuck around and made it this far, I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. I'm thinking about doing a giveaway in the future. Make sure you're a subscriber to qualify for the giveaway. I need subscribers anyway to help the channel. Feel free to leave a comment, share the video if you want, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.